I think we are live.
Right, that's enough of that, and no singing. Welcome to the show.
It's been singing all morning.
I know, I've been getting it out of my system so that you don't have to in your delicate...
I did get it in my delicate ears.
Your delicate shell-like ears. Joining me this week, back from her approved leave last week for illness, is Her Majesty Field Marshal Pim, Queen of Pirates and head of the Meat Militia, and also Professor Snoozy, otherwise known as Newsy. And she has floppy U's, according to the nice Welshman we met on the path the other day who said, "Oh, look at those floppy U's. Look at those floppy U's."
Yes.
Yes. Should we mute the stream over there? It's probably okay because I've muted it there. But
guess what?
What?
I have already done it.
Well, you are just as efficient as an efficient thing called Her Majesty Pim of the Efficiencies. Good. You know the drill. This is Q&A. So what you do is you write a large Q, suffix that with a colon, then a space, then type your question, starting with a capital letter and finishing with a question mark. That way, Ted, in his infinite lack of ability to stay focused on anything, will be able to find your questions and pass them on to Her Majesty Pim, who will then read them out with aplomb.
With a what?
Aplomb.
Plum?
Yes, it means skillfully and, you know...
I don't read skillfully.
Do you not? I'm always teaching Pim new words. Some of them are even real words.
I forgot that word already.
Aplomb.
That's a plum.
No, not a plum.
You
a
eat
plum.
those.
You can eat a plum. You can eat with a plum. You can eat a plum with a plum if you like.
Jesus.
Anyway, let's get on with it.
Snoozy, shall we just leave?
Let's have some questions.
Shall we go for
Well, we've got
Wookiees
one
then?
already. Here it is.
Wookiees?
Do you want to read the question?
No,
Don't
we
say
go
that
for
word.
Wookiees.
No, don't say that word. There'll be mayhem and destruction if you say that word.
Okay,
Now,
then.
let's go with that question there that we've got. We'll start with that one.
All right.
Yep.
Hello, Professor. Can you make an argument against raw meat, not the stabby guy?
No. There we go. What's next? It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's also not necessary or required, and you don't destroy all the nutrients by cooking it. It's up to you if you want to cook your meat or not. If you like eating raw meat, go for it. Yep.
Yes, I haven't done that for a while.
Salt is rock.
Yes.
Good. What's next?
So Alex was asking, Hi, would be really interesting to hear about recreational food with least impact, like sauerkraut, 200 grams per day, 2 grams per 100 gram, kefir or milk, half a liter per day, 3.5 grams per 100 milliliters. In total, about 20 grams of carbs per day.
I, for one, am quite a fan of kefir lately. I like kefir. It's good, and I like it also with Cerule collagen in it. Even though we're working on the formulation with the company on the collagen, we're going to make some improvements to that, as well as the core line products as well. That's coming up soon. In the meantime, though, it's good. I like it. And nom nom nom, basically. A couple of litres a day of that stuff is going down. It seems to be doing me good.
Well, but there's a bunch of carbs in there, obviously.
Well,
so I think
sure,
that's what
perhaps
he's
that's what it
asking
is.
about.
Yes, I've been dreadfully short of carbs. That's the reason I'm doing well on the kefir. Obviously, of course. And
So
everything I've
do
ever
you
said
think
is
it's
wrong.
okay to eat some sauerkraut and
Sure,
kefir or
sure.
milk or whatever?
Look, any of those kind of things that you want to add into your program that you feel is doing you good and, you know, isn't causing you a problem overtly or obviously, I would suggest that it's not broken and probably doesn't need fixing. We're not here to be extremists or nut jobs or anything like that. Speaking of extremists and nut jobs, tomorrow there's a premiere on my channel that you do not want to miss. It's my reaction, live, off the cuff, unrehearsed, to the debate style discussion held recently between Dr. Berry and Joel Kahn, Satan himself, vegan imbecile, and I'll be talking about who I think did the best job and what was lacking from it and stuff. And also, I'm also telling Joel Kahn all about next Tuesday, many, many times, because he really is completely, absolutely. Anyway, don't miss it. It's about 2 hours long, 2 and a bit, actually. So there's your Saturday or Sunday. Sunday for you guys. That's your Sunday entertainment. It's Sunday here today, isn't it?
It is.
I can't keep up. So don't miss the live presentation. It's not live, it's pre-recorded, but it will be being shown live for the first time, and you can be in the chat and stuff.
Why didn't I get a hat?
Well, would you like one? Okay.
Give me a hat.
We could put you in the Queen's crown.
Oh,
couldn't we?
fucking hell.
That's going to be too big for you.
Well, maybe.
There it is.
Really, that's almost more uncomfortable than the uniform. I think I
All
skipped
right, well,
that.
perhaps we'll give you another beret. Here we go. Have a beret.
You put it under.
Okay.
I can't.
All right.
Haha, you dropped
We should have done this before the show, but hey,
Yes.
whatever.
Look at how it sits on my...
Ladies and gentlemen, that is not how you wear a beret at all. No.
Thanks for...
Well, you asked for a hat.
I think I'll skip it.
Okay, fuck it
I
then.
look like a mushroom. Jesus.
But maybe you do look like a mushroom, but you certainly are a fun guy.
Haha.
Ha ha! See what I did there? Right, what's
Right.
next?
Okay. Instead of food questionnaires, could stable isotope analysis be done on modern people to establish what people actually ate during their lifetime?
Absolutely, if you have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to do a decently powered study of a large sample of humans. Yes. But it's not done because it's just simply not financially viable to do. Okay?
What's the best advice you have for exercising while dry fasting, and how do you get Cerule for free?
Right, question 1, don't, would be my advice. Question 2...
Wait. Exercising depends on what you mean. If it's light exercise, you can probably do that. But
sure, yoga, movement.
yeah, walking,
Yeah.
all of that is really good to do while you're dry fasting.
It's quite right
but-
too, Your Majesty.
But
Yes.
don't, if it's something that's going to make you sweat a lot, and especially if you're not very experienced with dry fasting, don't do it.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, good, very good. That's
Very
why I
good.
have you here.
Now you can continue to part 2.
Right, and part 2, how do you get Cerule for free? Right, number 1, join Cerule in my team, or in Pim's team if you like, or in any of the other people in my team in Cerule, it doesn't matter. Join Cerule somewhere in my team as an IBO, which stands for Independent Business Owner. This is not available to customers. We love customers, but we can't be giving you free products because that negates the purpose of you being a customer. So you have to join as an IBO. It costs you $30 US or equivalent wherever you are around the world, pretty much give or take. And actually, if you're active from the second year onwards, they tend to just waive that. So it's probably pretty much a one-off payment if you're active. So that's step 1, join as an IBO. Number 2, put a wellness pack of product, main Cerule core line products preferably, on auto ship, which is a repeat monthly order. You give them your credit card details, they charge it on the day that you tell them to every month, and then they send you the products automatically. Set and forget. Awesome. Step 3, find 3 people who also want to purchase the same size wellness pack as you are doing, be it made up with whatever products from Cerule, it doesn't really matter. Same size wellness pack is what we're talking about though. 3 people that want those products but don't want to be involved in that marketing thing. So you allow them to sign up as customers, they do so, they put their wellness pack on auto ship. 3 of those means you get yours free from the next month onwards, as long as you maintain 3 active auto ships indefinitely, ongoingly, forever. It's a company policy. That's how you do it. So what I say to people is, I want you on a wellness pack of Cerule products, but I don't want you paying for it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you build huge organizations of people and produce financial security for yourself ongoingly and passively, like I've done over 5.5 years.
Very good.
Yes. So much we can afford to feed this guzzle guts. Can't we? Snooze. And the other one, wherever she is, down there under the table.
Yes. How is Pim? I'm okay now, thank you. Thank you for asking. Still have some frogs in my throat and some sinus doings.
Is that not a top beard?
That is a very impressive beard.
Yes. John, if I could grow a beard like that, I might.
It should be grey though, so you can present yourself as Father Christmas. Yes.
Actually, he looks quite a bit like John Petrucci, doesn't he? And you won't know who that is.
Nope.
Yes, he's the lead guitar player for Dream Theater.
I see.
Good.
Now we're looking for questions.
Questions, roly-poly questions. No singing.
Here's a question. Yes, indeed. Hey, Bart and Pim, what are your thoughts on beef, lamb, bone broth?
You go.
Yummy?
Eat it up. Yum. Yeah, we very rarely have broth. I really have broth.
You
Pim has
would.
it more often than I do. We base most of our diet around steak and eggs and steak and lamb
Kefir.
and kefir and Cerule collagen and other Cerule main core line products. Good.
Yeah, I don't think I would like the taste of lamb bone broth, but that's because I hate lamb fat. I think it's disgusting.
It is.
But,
I love it, and I hate tallow. So.
I mean, broth in general, good.
Oh.
Unless you have histamine issues and you react to it, maybe,
Yes.
or such. And some people that have extreme problems with oxalates might get increased oxalates from bone broth. I have never noticed any such thing, so in general, good stuff.
Lovely.
Yes.
Nice.
Dr. Abs.
Dr. Abs, good to see you, my friend.
But,
Yes.
please, can you demo the correct wrist position throughout the concentration bicep curl?
Yes. I would tend, when doing the bicep concentration curl, I would tend not to use a barbell. I would tend to use 2 dumbbells. And the reason being is that at full extension with the elbow straight, the palm of the hand should be facing the floor. Dumbbell in the hand. As you twist up, you also turn the wrist to face yourself. And on the eccentric phase, you reverse that. And then obviously you do the other. I tend to do them when I am doing them. As I said, thusly, without that going on, of course, that's just that's no good at all. So that's my take on that one.
Uh-huh.
The reason for the twist in the wrist through that action is that it activates the bicep much more than doing it with a wrist position that's not rotating. And you can test that yourself by just feeling your own bicep and see what happens when you do that. You can actually feel it without any elbow flexion at all. You can feel the thing happening. It's quite impressive. Well, my bicep's impressive. How's yours?
Not very impressive.
No, neither's mine, to be fair.
My biceps have always been one of those muscles that I can't really properly connect with.
Yep. If people want to have more impressive upper arms, a lot of people focus on the bicep as being the way to, really. No. Triceps is 2/3 of the musculature in your upper arm. Focus on that. Obviously do biceps, but hit your triceps more, and you'll find that the overall appearance of that will be impressive. Speaking of impressive, there is a photo before and after going around of Dave Bautista, who, for those that don't know, is an ex-WWF wrestling actor and also a movie actor. Huge bloke. He was in the Avengers series. Is that what they were called? No, Guardians of the Galaxy is what I'm thinking, not Avengers. Guardians of the Galaxy, among other things. He went vegan a couple of years ago, apparently. Have a look at it. It's on the face pages. It's all over the face pages as to what's happened to that man in 2 years of being a vegan. It will stun you. Good. Right, what's next?
Need to sneeze.
Go on then.
No, what else?
You don't get a blessing then.
Do we have to worry about ferritin levels when doing carnivore?
No, not necessarily. If there's a reason to suspect that your ferritin is either elevated or depressed, then you might want to get that looked at. But if you have no symptomology and no problems, then testing it is a waste of time, probably.
Hi, Bart and Pim. Is it a good idea to supplement with vitamin D in the wintertime?
That depends. Do you want to cover that one?
I mean, where do you live? Can you get enough during summer?
Yep.
My philosophy is to avoid supplementation unless you have to. But if you can't get enough vitamin D happening during summer, then yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Right. Do make sure that any vitamin D supplement you take is not presented in an oil base, like a PUFA oil base. You can get them with MCT bases. I'd prefer that hugely over any PUFA or MUFA base. Absolutely.
I've seen them with coconut oil.
Yeah, that would be fine too. Yeah, good.
Yes. What's the issue with sardines and the lidocaine thing? I'm eating a small tin a week as for omegas, calcium, etc. Should I stop? I'm carnivore with dairy.
Right, okay. There are several potential problems with tinned fish. Number one, the tin liner is plastic, basically, and that will and can leach into the sardines, especially if they're in that tin for some time before you open it and eat them. Secondly, rancidity is a very real likelihood on any fish tinned in any kind of oil, or in fact any kind of oil pretty much produced industrially and put into anything, bottles, tins, or anything else. Rancidity, very, very serious issue. Things like aldehydes can sneak in there. There is no safe level for aldehydes. They are absolutely toxic, hugely toxic, and possibly carcinogenic as well in micro concentrations. You want to avoid that stuff like the plague. All fish that you eat should be freshly caught that day, or at least snap frozen when it was caught several days ago. In my mind, I would stay away from that kind of stuff altogether. And if someone says to you that surströmming is a good idea, I would say, having never tried it, probably not, because fuck. Right.
Well, if
Should
you
you
like
stop?
rotten food.
No, rotten food is not for me. Should you stop? Well, that's up to you. I would suggest that it's not a good idea, but you do you. Omegas, you don't need to seek out and look for in your diet. There's plenty of omega-3 in muscle meat of ruminant animals for a human being, assuming you are not adding PUFA to your diet. Calcium you will also find in muscle meat in perfectly sufficient quantities. You do not need to eat any fish or any seafood at all ever to be healthy. You can eat that stuff fresh, in my mind, but you don't need to. Okay? I hope that's helpful. And please stop asking that question, for God's sake. I've had it 100 fucking times or more. Read the thread under the video. It's in there 100 times, please, people. Also, while I'm thinking about stop doing things, I do not have a LinkedIn account. I do not use LinkedIn. Stop with the LinkedIn stuff. LinkedIn can suck my dick. All right? Good.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Do you use any personal care products that you would recommend, such as deodorants, shampoos, soaps, and toothpastes?
Right. The toothpaste we use is one that contains no fluoride, and I would suggest that that's a good idea. It's based on bees stuff, isn't it?
They have propolis in it, but
Propolis.
it's just a marketing thing, probably.
Yes, of course it is. Anyway, the main thing is your toothpaste should probably not contain fluoride. Hey, look, Pim at times has even made her own out of fat and bicarbonate, haven't you, and stuff.
Yeah, it's just coconut oil. I put some essential mint oil in, but you can also use like what do they call them? Tooth powder. You can just mix like cloves and stuff and put it on the toothbrush and brush it. You don't need toothpaste.
No, right. And also deodorants, we have, again, it's a fat and bicarbonate-based preparation made by Her Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates. We use that. Shampoo is not a problem for me whatsoever. Shut the fuck up. Do you want to come up here? All right, then. Hang on. Oh, you dick. Just about bumped your head. Hello, Fluffy. Say hello, Fluffy.
I'm basically using sodium bicarbonate for everything.
Oh.
Washing my hair with it, brushing my teeth with it. Well, not when we have this toothpaste.
Toast.
Using it for the deodorant part. So, very good.
Fuck you, shut up. Toast.
But, I mean, there are probably several good companies out there that use similar things to produce more products that more mimic the ones that you're used to.
Yeah. Cool. And in terms of soap, avoid, if you get slick into, avoid sodium lauryl sulfate. Yeah.
Is creatine mixed with taurine safe to take drink, and is it a benefit?
Safe? Well, as safe as anything. Benefit? Maybe not. Depends on what your outcomes that you're looking for are. Taurine is only going to be of benefit if there is a lack of taurine in your intakes in terms of what your needs for taurine are. Harry would disagree. At least he would if he were allowed to say anything at all, because she's been silenced until November.
Poor Harry.
Poor Harry. Creatine is one of those things that is perhaps the most researched supplementary thing available anywhere in the marketplace, and yet the take-home message is still that the jury is out in my mind in terms of actual benefits. So there are all sorts of proposed benefits. Whatever. Oh, you sort us the hoodie button.
There's also the dickiest one.
Oh, God, yes. You are a cockhole, aren't you?
So, Super Chat.
Super Chat abs. We love Super Chats. Thank you.
Do you think aging changes nutrient levels? Beef.
I think that's almost certain that it probably just about has to, abs. In terms of how much and in what direction, depending on what nutrient you're talking about, I guess that's a whole seminar that perhaps you and I could do together for our next collaborative video presentation. Presentation. Good.
Unpasteurized yogurt and grass-fed goat milk, okay?
Yep, so long as it doesn't contain pathogens that could potentially cause you a problem, which is unlikely, but it might if it's unpasteurized. Of course, when you pasteurize milk products, you also kill anything in there that might have been useful as well. So it's can be a double-edged sword. Super Chat action is ramping up. We love it.
Can carnivore help someone who is heavily medicated due to borderline personality disorder and depression? She has been on meds for 15 years. Yeah,
it can be helpful, absolutely, in that the carnivore diet is perhaps the most anti-inflammatory dietary pattern available to a human being. How do I know that? Well, because it's the species-appropriate diet for a human being, and it's what we've evolved to do over at least 4.5 million years, both as humans and as other speciations. Not yet human, but our ancestors prior to us being humans. That's not medical advice, of course, or anything of the sort. That's just yes, there's a possibility it can be helpful as part of a program of helping that person deal with their BPD. I would also put them on Cerule products. Absolutely, I would. Well, I'd also tell them that they should probably ground themselves electrically, block blue light after dark, and undertake 30 to 45 minutes session time, 3 to 4 times a week of high-intensity burst and repeat and or resistance training. 5 hacks. Everyone should do. Mm-hmm. What are you laughing at? Is that funny? Okay.
Yes.
Must be a Swedish thing with the sense of humor. No? Okay.
Can a person with hemochromatosis do the carnivore diet? She has a myriad of other problems and is interested, but has been told to eat low heme.
Yes, they can, absolutely. Case by case. So that's not advice for your friend. That's a generalised statement. Yes, absolutely, it's possible for a person to do a carnivore diet. Maybe there's more reliance on the whiter meats rather than the redder ones. That doesn't mean you can't have any red meats. Also, bloodletting can be handy. Go and donate blood every, whatever it is, that's required to keep the heme levels where they should be. All of that depends on what those other problems may or may not be. Good to see you, by the way, Claire.
Very good.
Claire's absolutely irregular here, and that shows very, very poor judgment on your part, Claire.
Poor Claire.
Poor Claire, right.
Can you please explain the difference between LDL and ketones? I eat a lot of meat, fat, and both my LDL and ketones are high. I thought fat was turned into ketones, so where does LDL fit in? Okay, LDL is a lipoprotein transporter of lipids, including cholesterol, triacylglycerides, anything that won't dissolve in water, i.e. in the blood plasma. So it needs to be transported in packages, and that's what LDL is. It's a transporter that does that. Ketones are basically acetyl units stacked together so that they can be sent around the body fairly rapidly in the blood, and those tissues can uptake those acetyl units, link them into a coenzyme A, thus producing acetyl coenzyme A, which is the first intermediary of the tricarboxylic acid TCA or Krebs bicycle. And I'm calling it a bicycle because it's 2 half cycles and not 1 cycle.
Good.
The Krebs bicycle.
The Krebs bicycle. Or the Krebs 2 half cycles. The Krebs cycle.
Yes, super chat. What Cerule stack would you recommend for her?
Right, I would go with the 3 main core line products, absolutely, which are STEM, Enhance Ultra, the stem cell release agent. Active, the anti-inflammatory, which knocks down LOX and COX pathways without the side effects of the pharmacological analogues of it, and Plasma Flow, which is an enzyme preparation designed to break down fibrin deposits in the microvasculature, thus allowing optimal blood flow and the delivery of things like nutrients and adult stem cells to get to where they need to be. On top of that, you may choose to add collagen, depending on your views about artificial sweeteners, actual sugar, and a food colouring agent, which are currently in that preparation, but as I said before, we're working on that with the company and saying, we need a formulation that does not contain that for my carnivore audience, please. And the company have said, yeah, okay, cool. So that's coming. And then you may or may not also add the electrolyte solution stuff, which is called Hydraactive, which is based on magnesium glycinate. Same deal, sweetener or sugar, depending which market you're in, and a food colouring agent, which again shouldn't be in there, but I have trialled a clean, no sweetened, no food colouring, no nothing version of the magnesium glycinate, and it's completely fucking repulsive. It's undrinkable. So we won't be doing that one. So if you want to take that one, that's how it comes. All right. What do you think, Professor Snoozy?
She doesn't want to play games.
Oh. Right. So there you go. That's what I would recommend. Absolutely, the 3 main core line products, and the other ones are plus or minus. Also, we have a great skincare range based on the same stem cell releasing technology. It causes the stem cells in the dermis under your skin to come forward, thus replacing your existing skin with brand new skin with full-length telomeres. Exciting stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I'm 107, and Pim's 906, aren't you, or something?
Yes, of course, I'm 906.
Right. Right. Good.
It's great seeing you, Pim, says Bev. Thank you, Bev. Great seeing you too. And we have a New Zealand super chat without any comments.
Oh, some Pacific pesos, $1.
Thank you, Brett.
Brett, appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's see if I can get back to where I was.
Get back to where you once belonged. No singing.
Indeed.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Losing my voice now. What do you have to say to people who claim gluconeogenesis is insufficient and they need some exogenous carbs for optimal exercise performance?
Okay, 2 words. Well, really it's 1 word. Bullshit. Wrong. False. Gluconeogenesis is sufficient. It's also training status informed. It absolutely is sufficient. Tell you what, if you want to know about whether or not you need to intake anything at all for optimal exercise performance, well, go and look at my video where I interviewed a bloke who did 5 marathons in 5 days while not eating any food of any kind for 5 days. That would seem fairly optimal. Okay, they weren't fast marathons, but they weren't any slower than his normal time, so whatever. Yeah, no, it's just rubbish.
Rubbish. Super chat. It's not rubbish though.
No, super chats are great.
Thoughts on iodine. My blood iodine level is low, 47 micrograms per liter. I have Lugol's and oral or putting it on skin. Can it be absorbed by skin?
Yeah, I put it on your skin and let your skin absorb it. If your body needs it, it will absorb it through your skin. Also, looking at your blood level of anything will not inform on your tissue level of anything necessarily. Okay? Blood tests are almost universally a complete waste of time for almost all things, under almost all circumstances. Blood tests. Okay. Yes.
Question for the daft like me.
Yes.
If a person is insulin resistant, meaning fat cells reject the glucose, how do fat cells then become hypertrophic when no glucose can enter them?
Well, the thing that's the phenomenon that's usually incorrectly referred to as insulin resistance is not an on-off light switch thing. It is a sliding scale like a fader. It affects the amount of glucose and or fat that can enter a cell. It doesn't turn it on or off immediately, on, off, on. That's how. Cool.
On, off, on.
Yes. On and off and off and on. No singing.
Can carb build bigger muscle? Oh, for goodness sake.
Can carb build a bigger muscle? No. Well, no, in terms of the muscle tissue itself, the makeup of that muscle tissue itself, because muscles are made from amino acids, not carbohydrates. What it can do is cause your muscle cell to contain more water and thus make the muscle seem more plumpy, but it actually doesn't affect anything else about the actual contractile machinery in that muscle cell or fibre. Hopefully that's clear.
First, you two are awesome.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful for you. I'm considering abdominoplasty, but I can't find information on the potential health impacts of removing adipose tissue. Your thoughts?
I wouldn't do that at all. I wouldn't go anywhere near doing that. I would use a species-appropriate, species-specific diet, plus the other 4 of the 5 health hacks on my video where I'm doing that on the thing saying 5 health hacks you need to know about. I would go and watch that video and do those things ongoingly, and over time your body composition will normalize to your genetically predetermined optimum, which, by the way, there is nobody who is genetically fat. That is absolute garbage. People say, oh, fatness runs in my family. So do behaviors. Okay? Right. What's next?
Do you think gastroparesis is for unlucky few or all patients to some extent on GLP-1s? I'm running out of breath in the UK speaking against them.
I don't know what the incidence data is off the top of my head, Abs. I'd have to look at it and see about the signal-to-noise ratio and all that kind of stuff. I mean, let's be honest. I am pretty much absolutely against all forms of Big Pharma produced schedule drugs that GPs can prescribe. Because at the end of the day, not one of these drugs is a cure for anything. They are all symptomology managers, and they all come with side effects, some of them absolutely fucking disastrous. And I think GLP-1 inhibitors, etc., are definitely, in my mind, in that category of things that no one should touch with a barge pole. Personally.
Very nice.
Yes.
What do you think is the worst that could happen if one continues to consume red meat that is not grass-fed in the long term?
The worst thing that could happen, you could be hit by a bus, struck by lightning, or catch some disgusting disease. Maybe. What's the worst thing that could happen as a direct result of eating non-grass-fed meat? Well, the fatty acid profile is very slightly different in grain-fed or grain-finished meat than it is to the natural, but whether or not that actually has any long-term ramifications for health is unknown by anybody. It would be a speculation, but I don't think it's a problem personally. I would far sooner see a person eat a grain-fed, grain-finished meat diet than any diet containing any significant amount of plant material of any kind, if there was a choice between the two. How's that? Good.
Is it possible for a very elderly person to reverse sarcopenia?
Yes, absolutely it is. Yep.
Someone on the interwebs was saying that lead is leached from bones when we make broth. He said to avoid it. I can't remember right now who it was. Have you heard anything about this?
I have not. Neither have I seen any evidence anywhere that would lead me to suspect that that's true. Or false.
And my question would be, why would there be a huge amount of lead in bones? There would be traces, just as in human bones, I suppose.
I mean, lead pervades the universe. It's one of the elements that exists So it will be in tissues of animals and plants to some degree or another. And lead poisoning is something that can occur with someone who consumes a lot of material, either plant or animal, that contains a lot of lead. But whether or not it's an issue in terms of grass-fed cows or whatever, I don't think so. I don't know.
Right. Opinion on supplementing with iodine. Dr. Elizabeth Bright says it's needed for optimal T3 and T4 production.
Well, supplementing with anything is only of any benefit if that thing is lacking. Simple as that. Put it on your skin rather than consuming it, because if your body doesn't need it and you put it on your skin, you won't absorb it. Your body is quite clever in that way. That way, if you don't need it, your body doesn't need to eliminate it because you've eaten it when you didn't need it.
Look at that pathetic thing.
Oh, you poor wee thing. It's not even cold. What's your problem?
Staring at you.
Det var den største kukold. Right, what's next?
Do you have any advice on how to promote remyelination of axons in patients with multiple sclerosis?
100% carnivore diet. All 3 main Cerule products. Ground yourself electrically, block blue light after dark, and undertake exercise as described previously.
And eat enough fat.
Yes.
Yes.
And if they're on statins, get them off them before yesterday. Or PSK9 inhibitors, same deal.
Can you please recommend books on the scientific methods so we can learn the definition of terms like mechanism, marker, what cause means versus, say, risk factor, etc.? Not interested in classes right now.
I've never been a fan of textbooks. I've never trusted anybody other than myself to explain things in a way that's best accessible to students, and I believe that interactive classes are the way to do that. I hate reading books, especially books written by people I don't know that may or may not contain assertions that I would or would not agree with. In fact, even when I was teaching in academia, students would always say to me, "What's the textbook for this semester?" And I would say, "Save your money." To which there'd be a large sigh of relief, because textbooks are expensive and usually full of crap. I'm here to teach you. I'm not here to tell you to read a book, is what I said. That's my job. So, shut up and listen. Starts now. Class. Blah, 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 blah. Finished. That's how it went.
Very good. USDA requires meat to be sprayed with citric lactic acid, a mold derivative. I buy local, but slaughterhouse is inspected. Is this a health concern? I've had black mold poisoning in the past.
It's potentially a health concern, case by case, depending on the provenance of said citric/lactic so-called acid. Don't know. Case by case as to whether someone's going to react badly to that or not. We are going to start very soon raising our own animals, and I think we have on the list, we have Wagyu beef we're going to get. We're going to have
maybe not straight away.
Not straight away.
They're a little bit hard to get hold of.
Well, perhaps. We're going to have some ducks. And what else are we going to have? Sheeps. Maybe.
Sheeps, other cows.
Yep. Not Wagyus.
Maybe some chickens.
Some chickens. And we're not going to be adding anything that said animals wouldn't naturally come up against in the world, in the real world. We've just bought a farm. Well, we're just waiting on... Not quite. We're just waiting on the unconditional date and a few reports from inspectors and the land information memorandum and all that stuff that you need to be sure that you're not buying a lemon. And we didn't buy the place that had lemon trees anyway. 110 of them. We bought a place that had lots and lots of grass.
I hope it has a lemon tree.
If not, we can put one there, can't we?
Well,
that's the beauty of lemon trees. You can plant them and they'll stay there.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Super chats.
We love a super chat, don't we, Ted?
Okay, shout out, contraindicated, Eddie Goch.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Contraindicated by Eddie Goki. It's a great book. Written by a young man with a stunning intellect, frankly, and it's written accessibly, which is good to see.
Very good. Another super chat.
Yep.
I thought human cloning was illegal, but I'm happy you agreed to Mr. Gucky. Your generosity of spirits is evidenced by the full head of hair you've granted him. Thank you for answering my previous question.
It only cost me $1 million. Love you, Eddie, and there's nothing you can do about it.
There is another super chat, but I
can't get it up on... a clone of my own with the Y chromosome changed to X.
There's something wrong with this chat. Here we go.
No singing. Yeah.
There we go. Other book, Beef Up, Carnivore Bodybuilding Bible.
Excellent. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you. There'll be an interview between myself and Jonathan on my channel this week. It's probably already on his. And we're talking about life behind the scenes as autistic people, which I'm one of.
Should talk to me, if anything. Life behind the scenes with autistic people.
Why don't you contact Jonathan and say, why don't you interview me about what it's like living with Baldy?
No, that's probably not a good idea.
Stick a brain. Ingen mer kommentarer?
No. How to recover from brain damage after an ischemic stroke. Food supplements.
Right. 100% carnivore diet. The 3 main Cerule products in the largest possible dosages, at least of the green and blue, as is possible financially, and or get them for free by being an IBO and taking advantage of 3 and free. Grown to self electrically for as much time as possible. Block blue light after dark and exercise as described earlier.
Jonathan says, it's a great discussion if you want to get to know Bart on a more deeper level. Next up is Pim to slag off B-Man. Oh, poor B-Man.
Oh, stuckish.
Wasn't this exactly what we were talking about before? Thoughts on tinned cod liver in its own oil for omegas and vitamin D on a non-beef carnivore diet. Same rancidity and tin liner issue. Yes,
obviously.
Yes, there's
absolutely
a tin
the same
involved.
Issues. Yes. Anything involving a tin? No. Anything involving oil that's been tinned or bottled, that's been produced in a factory at all? No. Absolutely not. And Ted agrees, don't you, Ted? Ted's lost his voice too.
Yeah. So can Ted read this?
Yes.
I am currently doing infusions with Mabthera twice a year for primary progressive MS. And I heard Dr. Chaffee say something about that interfering with the lion diet healing. Know anything about that?
Nope. Sorry. Thanks, Ted. Good work, son.
I'll read this.
Good, I think you should. Yes.
Are you retarded?
Shut up. What kind of damage rancid, oxidized oils or PUFAs generate in the body and by what mechanisms?
Well, the most dangerous is a oxidation product called aldehydes, or a class of chemicals called aldehydes. They will destroy lipid rafts, i.e. membranes, both the external and any internal membranes within a cell. They will kill cell organelles, and they will bind to and derange your DNA, leading to all sorts of things like cellular apoptosis if you're lucky, and carcinogenesis if you're unlucky, potentially. Very, very dangerous, very, very bad stuff. Anything to add to that? Because that's actually your area of expertise more than mine.
It's not my area of expertise.
You were first author on the paper, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, so what?
Jesus. I just put my name on it because I helped write it. Read the paper.
Read the paper.
It's in the journal, which is called simply Nutrition, in 2018. Do a search on W3 or omega oils, aldehydes, and Janssen, Janson, as spelt on her name tag there. Not Johnson, not Pam, Pim Janssen with an A. Okay? Or you could look up Baldy, some other clown that she was working with on that paper as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that... Does it matter? It's just know that oxidized fats, when they get into your body, they will continue to oxidize because until they're finished oxidizing, when they are, for example, aldehydes, they might attach to all sorts of things, DNA, proteins, fats, and destroy them. So why would you want to have that in your body? Like, avoid it if you can. It's going to happen anyway. So the more you can avoid it, the better. Do you think taking glycine is going to enhance the effect of taurine in lung fibrosis case?
No idea. No idea at all.
You should probably ask Harry about that, if Harry could speak.
Well, he can. If you contact him directly behind the scenes, he just can't make videos until November.
Yes. Cura team, 99% carnivore, apart from the low-carb beers. Weird, but my toenails have strange white lines in them, mainly the two big ones. Fingernails perfect, all blood works good. Thoughts?
Sounds like a pretty minor thing to me, if that's your only concern. Maybe lose the low-carb beer at some point. Maybe, it's up to you. You do you, of course. I mean, it just really depends. In terms of the carnivore thing, it's 100% carnivore and 95% carnivore. 95% isn't 95% as good as 100% carnivore. Not even close. It's completely unfair. You have to do the mahi. Okay, so kia kaha and get it done, I would say. Or don't. You do you. But if your only problem is lines in your toenails, I'd suggest that that's pretty good. Maybe take some Cerule products and ground yourself electrically and all of that stuff. Yep.
Very nice. I'm using liver and kidney support supplements, NAC, Tudga, astragalus, glutathione. Which of these would you emphasize, if at all? Marcus hugely improved by using this combo.
Well, I'd be less interested in markers and more interested in actual outcomes, Jonathan. So tell us about improvements to your affect rather than to lab results, because lab results don't interest me remotely unless I suspect you have a particular pathology and I've asked you to get a blood test to either confirm or deny said diagnosis. Personally. That's just me, though. What do I know, though?
Indeed.
I made it all up, and I never really was anything to do with academia, apparently, according to some.
Yes. Can adding Lugol's iodine to dairy be beneficial? Would it address harmful bacteria while leaving good bacteria alone?
No idea that it would do that. I don't think it would do that. What mechanism would the iodine be able to distinguish between what's good and bad bacteria, given that we don't even know what that is?
Yeah, it will kill anything.
Pretty much. At high enough concentrations, it would nuke the lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, probably not.
Is the statement that fluoride can reduce tooth sensitivity a myth? Why would one want to avoid it?
No, it's not a myth. It absolutely can do, because the fluoride can displace other minerals in the teeth, which makes them actually harder and better in that regard. But why would one want to avoid it? Because it's also a nerve toxin. Pretty much. Yep.
Can stem enhance be taken at the same time as Cyactive joint, or best to separate?
Nah, whack them in together. I take them all at once. And also it says on the bottle, for some of them, take with food and other ones take away from food. It doesn't seem to make any difference to me. Just get them. The main thing is that you take them. I can guarantee you one thing about Cerule products is that they will not work in the bottles on your shelf somewhere. You have to take them. So do that. Yeah.
Where does the fear of methionine come from and its balance ratio with glycine?
No idea. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Marcos says, Thomas Lauer and Dave Asprey talked about methionine to glycine ratio, but doesn't seem to be a problem. Also, those two influences aren't credible.
Correct, they're not.
So maybe that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Does heavy work, including exercise, reduce the lifespan? People who do heavy labor always look decades older than they are. Does this mean that they're also biologically as old as they look?
People that do heavy manual labour also tend, socio-economically, to lead completely different lives in many other ways to people who are of a higher socio-economic and or / educational status. Too many degrees of freedom there, no control, no ability to speak about cause nor effect whatsoever. So the answer to your question is, who knows? How's that?
Could the Cerule products theoretically reverse hearing loss caused by acoustic trauma?
Absolutely. That is not a therapeutic claim, and I'm not saying it will, but absolutely the stuff does exactly what it says it does, and that is to cause your bone marrow to release your adult stem cells vastly more than you would without taking the stuff. Those adult stem cells can and do find tissues in your body that are damaged, worn, dysfunctional or diseased, and replace them with brand new ones. So yes. The only thing that adult stem cells cannot do is themselves become sperm or eggs. Anything else in your body, they can, and they do, according to your body's evil machinations and plan for such things. Doesn't she look darling in her uniform today? It's great, isn't it?
Do you guys have any idea how uncomfortable this is?
Well,
it's really super hard.
Yeah, okay,
starchy.
but as I said before we came online, that particular shirt there has never been worn. It's never been washed or worn. It's come straight off the rack, and it's as stiff as fuck.
I don't have those red things here.
Well, you don't need them because this means that I am part of the general staff of the Meat Militia. You are the head of the Meat Militia. We hold the same rank in the Meat Militia, i.e. we're both field marshals. However, you are the Queen, and the Queen is the head of any military, and the general staff are your underlings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you please turn off ads during your live streams? I get them every 3 minutes and miss a lot of your answers.
Well, perhaps you'd like to send me lots of money then. How's that? Also, you can watch the replay afterwards for anything you missed, which would also help my algorithm. So instead of bitching about things, maybe actually think about how you can be helpful. How's that?
Well, you can also...
Love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. Sorry, Pim, you go.
There is a button, skip ad.
Yeah, but you might
If you
miss a
want
few words here and there if you do. Fine, whatever. Cool. Do.
Jonathan says, ads do not appear every 3 minutes in live streams. The max is 6 minutes. Here we go.
He's not autistic at all, is he? Love you too, Jonathan, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Funny as fuck. Right. I've been taking Stem Cell Ultra for 45 days because I can't swallow the capsules and mix it with water and ice to drink. Is it still effective?
Absolutely. Yes. That's the stuff in the middle of the capsule that does the thing, not the capsule itself. Also, by the way, you know, we'll talk about changing the collagen around for the carnivore folks so that it doesn't contain nonsense. The same is true of the main core line products. We are looking to replace the cellulose capsule with a bovine gel capsule and remove the rice starch encapsulation agent, and instead replace that with a chemical flow agent that is innocuous and non-plant based.
How do you break a carnivore priming protocol? You
stop eating quite so much and start fasting.
Jonathan
a bit.
says, you stop pinging yourself out, doesn't need a program.
That's it. Good. Love it. Just making sure you heard. They got it.
But could you do a video on how to sell Cerule? Learning from the brightest really does help.
Absolutely. Look, this is what I do personally. I have a relatively successful YouTube channel, which you too can set up, or any other form of social media, it doesn't matter. And basically, it relies on me saying 4 sentences about 3 times a week to people, and enough people hear those 4 sentences to go, shit, I'm in. And here they are. Number 1, did you know your body renews and repairs itself using a system of adult stem cells that unfortunately, as we age, winds down? Isn't that terrible? Luckily, there's a product available for your purchasing pleasure today that reverses that trend. Isn't that great? This is where you get it from, and then point to your URL, which should be up on the screen. Mine isn't today because that's not what we're doing. We're doing questions and answers. You'll get a custom URL when you become an IBO if you haven't already got one. And then the 4th sentence is, oh, by the way, if you're the sort of person who's more interested in earning money than in spending it, all you need to do is let me know. We have a program for that too. Right, let's get back to what we were talking about, whatever that was. That's it. No hard sell. In fact, we don't really want salespeople because they give us a bad name. It's just telling people that what the stuff is and that it exists, pretty much. And anyone with more than 3 brain cells that hears you say adult stem cells and here's a product that makes them more better, they go, well, fuck me, I want it. Where do I get it from? So you tell them. That's your job as an IBO, nothing else. And then when you get people in, you say to them, well, number 1, the most important thing is I want you to be on a wellness pack of at least 3 products a month, but I don't want you to be paying for it. And then remain silent until they say, shit, how do I do that? And then you say, well, you find 3 customers to buy a wellness pack. Isn't that great? I'm here all week. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I do it. And that's how you should do it too, I think, personally.
Right, so eggs have quite a lot of omega-6.
Yep.
They can also provoke some immunity issues to some people. Is it still good to eat a lot of them?
Well, are you one of those people that reacts negatively to eggs? If not, then no, it's not bad. If you are, then yeah, you should avoid doing that. It's always the simple things that are the easiest, isn't it, in terms of answers?
Yes, so I'm not sure if this person got things backwards.
Yep.
But how does your brilliant creative mind work without nicotine?
Well, I used to be a nicotine addict back in the day.
But not for a long time.
Well, also, I was turned into a newt. But I'm much better now.
That's lucky, isn't it?
My brain just tends to do what it does without me actually telling it to do anything. It just does. I think it's hardwired. It's part of the autism spectrum thing, I think. That and, you know, on both sides of my family, there are a number of both autistic and highly intelligent non-autistic people. So it's kind of almost a fait accompli that I would have a brain cell or two. And then what I did for the first 40 years of my life or so is kill as many of them as I possibly could by behaving like a douche towards myself, basically. But I'm much better now.
Are you?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's I was thinking about the other day where we were out walking and we talked about something, and then he said something very strange, as in a question, and I have no idea what he's talking about, because his mind has raced off in a completely different direction without telling me that he's changed the subject.
I've completely left the fucking building. Yep.
That happens quite a lot.
And also your ESP is not very good.
My what?
Your ESP, your extrasensory perception.
No, I cannot read minds and such.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just racing in all directions and think that I should be following for a reason.
Yeah.
Is it true that carnivore turns people's hair purple?
Yes, it is, clearly.
Yeah. More uniforms and accessories in the future, not a question. Yes?
Oh, sure. I've got heaps of that kind of kit sat in the wardrobe, and if we can be asked on any given day, then sure. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? Kind of a hook to get people to be interested in what we're doing. This is the BDO of the Meat Militia.
I'm not sure yellow is my colour.
Well, we've also got blue option. We've got a grey option. We've got green options.
Let's try by green.
And or we could get you a number 1 uniform and a number 2 uniform. I've got a number 2, but no number 1 yet. You've probably seen me wearing the number 2 sometimes. It's the woolen khaki one with the aglet and the decorations and things on it. The more dress uniform. But that's a number 2. I don't have a number 1 yet. Right, what's next?
Is it possible to cure gastritis with a proper carnivore ketogenic diet? If so, will it be painful in the beginning?
Yes, and possibly. Depends. Absolutely, it's possible. And in fact, that would be my first line of attack.
Do you think taking glycine will enhance the effect of taurine in lung?
I think
we have
I've heard
already
that.
had that. Stop
Yes.
asking again or get fucked.
And no boring questions, only exciting
So
ones.
annoying.
Yeah.
The lead in bone broth thing is from the Jesse Chapper's interview with cardiologist Dr. W. Davis. Apparently bones store lead and released when long boiling and adding vinegar. Sound right?
I don't know. No idea.
Okay then. Maybe not add vinegar then.
Or long
Maybe that
boil
will
the
help.
bones. I don't know.
Well, you're not going to get a lot of minerals out
Just
if you
making
don't.
sure you heard.
Do you think eating mostly chicken with some lard or butter as a fat supplement as a main meat source on carnivore could cause problems? Also eating minimum 4 eggs per day.
Well, if anything, that diet sounds to be possibly a bit short on the intake of iron, which may or may not be a problem for you at some point in the future. Otherwise, probably not, I think. What do you think?
Sorry, I didn't listen. I was reading questions.
Good. Well, that's fine.
Did you want to repeat what you said? Or
Well, I'd said that if anything, it might be short in iron, which might show up in the future or not, but there's no other real problem I can see there. Unless, of course, you're concerned about antibiotics in chicken, because that's quite a thing, apparently, especially in America, not so much here.
Yes, I haven't heard of anyone actually doing it. I don't know. But I probably wouldn't.
Yes.
Okay, silly question apparently. Does this apply to extra virgin coconut oil or coconut MCT? Probably darn. I eat a lot of animal fat but do like coconut oil for a change, sometimes for eggs, coffee.
Does what apply to it?
Yeah, I'm wondering what that is.
It's probably a response to something else in the chat.
You'll have to remind us about where we are when you ask these questions.
Because we're not reading all the chat. We're just looking for questions and answering those. So
we're answering the questions in order, so this might have been with regards to something we said 10 minutes ago.
Maybe. I can't remember what I said 10 minutes ago.
No, nor can I. Sorry. Try again.
Sorry, not sorry. It's just how it is.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Just making sure you heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it be unwise to start sprint interval training if I don't even jog? I do plenty of walking and resistance training, but can't remember the last time I sprinted. How would a beginner plan look?
Progressively. In terms of your pace, always make sure you warm up properly. Do several repeats at nominally 50%, a couple at 65, go to 85 to 90, and then hit it at full noise for you, whatever that is at this time. Do indeed continue your strength and power training if you want to do sprint training. Probably get yourself a trainer if you're not at all sure of how to approach progressive overload, which is basically what exercise training is. Okay.
Just 'cause. I'm enjoying my Sunday mornings with you guys. Thank you. A little joke. Why did Mattel never make a pregnant Barbie? Because Ken came in a different box.
Boom, boom, love it.
Yes.
Very good.
There you go. Do you think a carnivore diet can increase nitric oxide levels in the body more so than eating plants?
Yes, it is possible. Absolutely.
Do you think that life on Earth really began as described by the primordial soup theory 4+ billion years ago, or did life on Earth more likely originate from a rock much longer than 4 billion years ago? Why?
I think that life has existed in the universe for nearly as long as the universe has existed, however long that actually turns out to be, because we used to think it was 13.8 or so billion years, but now the James Webb Telescope is suggesting that it might be at least twice as long as that. So it shows what we know about anything. Dick about fuck, actually. The anthropic principle would guide you and tell you that, given that life exists purely because no other thing could have occurred, based on the anthropic principle, then life sprung to being pretty much very soon after the universe did. And as such, I believe it's existed that long, and yes, I believe it probably was delivered here on a rock from somewhere. Yep. But can I prove that? No.
Are stem cells prioritized by importance such as heart damage compared to eye damage?
Yes. Absolutely. That's why when I say adult stem cells can become anything, that includes hair follicle cells. Other things are more important. Yep.
They don't work for you.
It's not actually a health issue being bald. So your body doesn't see it as an issue. Right.
Why do my lungs seem to function better on a few carbs? I've been to pulmonologist, no results. I love carnivore and have problems when not eating carbs.
That sounds like something you'd need to consult with me about to see if we can work out what might be going on and suggest some things to you that might help in that regard. As to why you feel a certain way about eating carbs, I have no idea. I'd need to talk to you in the background. You can organise that at the link underneath the video in the show notes. It's the bit.ly link that will take you to being able to join my Patreon system as someone who can consult with me, or you can buy merchandise like this fine mug here, or t-shirts and stuff. You can also get a link to Cerule products directly off that page as well if you want to, and or just donate if you want as well to my PayPal. So there's they're all on one page there, bit.ly/Bart-KAY. Good.
Often see on carnivore groups people having issues with leg cramp. What's your theory? Lack of exercise?
Magnesium, almost entirely, 95% of the time or more, magnesium. Get some Epsom salt, put it in a spray bottle with some water and spray it on your skin. That usually sorts it. If not, talk to me at bit.ly/Bart-KAY. After paying the fee, of course. Also, please do send me long emails about all your problems asking me for advice for free. Absolutely. Continue to do that, and I'll continue to tell you that you can organise consults at bit.ly/Bart-KAY. Of course I want to work for free. Fuck's sake. Right, what's next?
Should we always avoid cortisol, or in short periods like working out and sauna can be positive?
No, you should not avoid cortisol. Cortisol occurs because it's supposed to. What you should avoid is putting yourself in a situation where your cortisol is chronically elevated, i.e. stressful, distressful situations in terms of your diet and other activities, habits, and environment. Those 5 things. The 5 health hacks. Do those.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any thoughts on novel analogues of cannabinoids for extreme pain relief, i.e. THCP, D8, HHC, variations of D9?
I haven't tried any of those, Jonathan. I have a long history of THC/CBD use, absolutely, because I live in New Zealand and we grew up that way. But no, I haven't tried any synthetic analogues at all. I believe that they can be quite effective. N=1. Try it and
Are
see.
they safe though?
Don't know.
Just effective or safe and effective?
Trust me, I'm the science. I'm safe and effective. Don't question the science, even though that's how you do science. Oh, by the way, also coming up sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to be dealing with, telling you all about an exchange that Ted, His Majesty Ted, had on the platform formerly known as X, with an academic in the UK.
Formerly known as X?
Yeah, formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, correct. Formerly available in Brazil.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, Ted had an exchange with an academic in the UK who is an epidemiologist and also a severe sufferer of Dunning-Kruger and also a fuck splat of the highest order. And we'll be dealing with him within the next couple of weeks as well, and his work. That'll be great fun. Ted will be...
But he won't be there.
Well, he will, I think.
He will?
Yes, Ted will be there.
No, but the fuck splat.
Oh, well, the fuck splat won't be there because he was invited to come and talk to me face-to-face about it and decided that he wasn't going to do that. Much like most people who think themselves expert in a field who then find out that small yellow teddy bear is actually me and they run away with shit in their pants. Don't they, Gunter? Yes, they do, Gunter. We'll be dealing with you during the week. It's going to be fun. And there's fuck all you can do about it. You actually had your opportunity to defend yourself and you chose not to take it. So now I'm going to tear you to shreds in absentia.
And now you have evoked the wrath of the teddy bear.
That's right. You've pissed off the wrong bear and he will have his way in this life or the next. He will have his revenge.
Revenge.
And by the way, you absolute imbecile, tear you to pieces means verbally as per your arguments. He's also accused me of making death threats because he's so very, very stable and confident in himself, when actually what I said was I'm going to eviscerate your arguments, which is not a death threat, is it? No. Ted will also be there, and he will have his bucket of soapy frogs and his wetsuit with the bottom cut out with him, also his small guillotine. Not a threat, just a fact. Right, what's next?
Right. Super chat from Jonathan.
Yes.
N=1 for sure. We'll give you feedback. Cheers.
Excellent. Make sure you give us the feedback once you come down from the high. If you get one of those synthetic analogues, I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Recommendations on blue block glasses.
Yes, make sure they are certified to block all blue wavelengths, which means that they will be dark amber in colour. They will not be clear coloured. They will not be light yellow or light orange. They will be dark amber lenses. And when you put them on, anything that is blue will appear either grey or green or black, depending what colour blue they were in the first place. All blue wavelengths need to be blocked, not just some of them or not just most of them, all of them. Thin Bear, good to see you, mate.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Apologies, ultra specific. How much would my elemental magnesium level needs change due to my body composition, stature, and activity levels?
Fuck knows, Jonathan. Goodness, who knows?
Fuck knows.
Don't call me fuck knows, wouldn't I? That's an old joke, but my timing was impeccable. Of course, you need to know the whole joke to get it, but it doesn't matter. We don't have time for that today.
We have trigger questions.
Good.
Do you think that consuming lime, lemon juice, or apple cider vinegar could lead to acidosis?
Absolutely not under any circumstances. That is a physiological impossibility. No. But you might listen to James de Nicolantonio, who would disagree because he has an opinion.
Rah, rah.
Here's a paper that absolutely proves RK wrong. An opinion piece with no data. Good work, James. Fucking idiot. What's next?
Does krill oil pose the risk of oxidation, and is there an alternative for creaking knees?
Yes, it does. And we showed that in the paper that we talked about earlier in the journal known as Nutrition in 2018, which is the lead author of was Pim Johnson and some other clown she was working with. Read that.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you work with that clown, by the way?
What? Who? What?
When you wrote that paper about aldehydes and shit, why did you work with that clown that you worked with? I don't know either. Maybe because it wasn't going to be published otherwise.
Daughter has severe morning sickness,
Yep.
a bit better in second trimester. Yep. Now she is pre-eclamptic.
Ooh.
Any thoughts? She was on the carnivore path until eggs and most meat turned the stomach.
That's a tough one. I am absolutely not a specialist in that field at all. I would not want to speak much about that at all, personally.
Someone says magnesium helps pre-eclampsia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on that either.
No.
And that was our last question.
Excellent. Right, and that's 22 minutes early. We'll love it.
Depends. Or we're 8 minutes late.
Well, yes, depending on whether you want it to be an hour or an hour and a half. Normally it's an hour and a half, but if you guys are done, we're happy to be done.
Yes.
If you do want any questions answered between now and the next 22 minutes, you have probably about 2 minutes to get it in, and it will probably need to be appended to a super chat so that Ted sees it, because he goes blind, you see. He's a bit one-eyed about things, is Ted, isn't he?
Harry's here, but I can't see him in my chat yet.
Right.
There he is.
There he is.
Harry has just dragged himself out of bed. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's, what is it? It's 9:09 a.m. on a Sunday morning over there in the Principality.
Did you drink too much last night, Harry?
Probably. This is Harry Louse, King of Tasmania. Yes. It's been quiet since Harry's been silenced, hasn't it?
Yes. Here's a question if you want one.
Oh, go on.
But it's a boring question.
Right.
Which one do you think is less bad, vanilla extract alcohol or vanilla extract glycerine?
I have no idea.
Oh, I knew you were
less bad
in
what way? You need to be a bit more specific about things. Well then, that being the case, I think we are done, aren't we?
Yes.
Would you like to put on your Meat Militia issued hearing
protect
protection?
my ears?
Yes. What's going to happen now, of course, is we are going to instruct you, as per the Meat Militia style, in terms of what it is that you should be focusing on for the meal that breaks your fast, whether that be in the morning or any other time of the day. And it goes a little bit something like this. Steak and eggs and steak. That's what you should have for your breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard. We got it. There you go. That's it. In the meantime, join us next week where there'll be more questions and more answers.